Real Talk, and this time it's the Spot Real Talk Happy Hour.
Yes.
Quarantine. We got the Quarantine Chronicles going on here.
And we're coming to you virtually here because, as you see, we're not in the studio all together. But hey, we had to figure out a way to get to you guys because it's been a minute, and we don't like separation. I mean, we have to do it now because of this Corona thing, and we'll get into that in a minute. But hey, this is Happy Hour. I got my little mixture of amaretto and some Bacardi rum. A little lemonade. You might think that's crazy, but it tastes pretty good. Let me take a sip before y'all do it.
Got me a little pineapple in Malibu with a little spritz of ginger ale.
That sounds good. I just have some rosé.
That's good.
Okay.
So look, we'll as always, we'll be right back in 2 seconds.
One burnt you, know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. You can't trust.
All right, so we are back, and just in case you're not familiar with who we are, my name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And of course, I'm Ron.
Okay, and we are the cast of the Spot Real Talk. We come together and talk about a lot of different shows and movies that we've been watching lately. And, since Power was one of our biggest talking points, and that has come to an end until, they come out with Power Book 2 later on. It was supposed to be this year, but, with this Corona stuff, who knows?
Oh, I also have to say thank you to DJ D Nice and Questlove, who had Club Quarantine live on IG.
Top King.
Past 2 days, I got my entire life. I had my little Bose speaker popping. All night long, I jammed to DJ D Nice and Questlove. I even put some requests in, and they fulfilled my request too.
So you're all ready for the Quarantine Chronicles Happy Hour. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm loving it. I love the creativity, and I think the only comfort that I've been getting from this whole situation is I've been able to be at home and catch up on a lot of shows that people have been talking about. So I think we're going to briefly go into a few of different shows that we've all been watching, and shows and movies pretty much that we've all watched recently and how we feel about them. We'll just give you a little brief rundown of, each show and talk about that.
And if one show or two captures your ear, please, go take a look if you got nothing to do. And obviously, we don't have much to do these days, but go take a look and join us. I'd love to hear your comments on some of the shows that we've seen. Yeah.
And in terms of the movies, I know all the movie theaters have pretty much been shut down, but a lot of streaming services have been putting new releases on their platforms. It still might cost you a little bit, but you can still get the newest releases on a lot of platforms like Amazon, I think Hulu and stuff, and even Netflix has been dumping out a lot of good content.
And if you have Apple TV or Xfinity, you can get the latest movie of The Invisible Man. If you haven't seen it, if that's your genre, you like that, I'm telling you, that is a good movie to watch.
I like scary movies. So.
Yeah, and really, it's more not scary at all. I was
suspense.
More of a suspense type. But it gives all the elements of a scary movie because things are happening that you just can't see. But I'm telling you, the acting in that movie was fantastic. The cast was great. I saw it. It'll set you back about $20 if you see it on Apple TV or even Xfinity. It'll hit you back about $20. But if you stop to think about it, if your family is watching it with you, you'll spend more than that in the theater. Watching it, so grab a few people, sit down and watch it, and I think you really enjoy it.
Okay, so do you guys want to go ahead and get into what you all have individually been watching, and we can kind of chime in on things as they get brought up?
So I know one that I have been introduced to last year is called You.
You on Netflix, yes.
You on Netflix. Now, for you fellas, you'll probably get into it a little later on. You got to give it a shot, though. So
yeah, it does start off a little slow, but as you watch it a little bit more, you get hooked.
This dude will do some things that I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. This man is off the chain.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched, he's kind of the main character. His name is Joe. In season 1, he's been this obsessive stalker type, and his love interest is a woman named Beck. Now in season, I'm not gonna give it away any spoilers for people that haven't seen it yet though. But in season 2, Joe becomes Will, and his new love interest is a woman named Love, and that show really is off the chain, and it does have a lot of suspenseful moments too. I really did enjoy that, and the actor Penn Badgley, he does a really good job of pulling you in.
Yeah, he does, and his intellect is just beyond. I mean, the way he pulled himself for this maniac to look so normal. And
well, a lot of times they do look normal.
Exactly.
What I liked about the show was that, and that's the thing, I can see how women would be sucked into him because he's into literature, which I like, went to school for literature and stuff. So I looked at him as like an accidental serial killer because he looked for different ways to rid himself of problems. And if it didn't go the way he wanted to, then he got you up out of there.
Yes.
So he didn't always. It seemed like murder was the path of least resistance. So he would end up there, but he would try other things.
Like he didn't mean to murder the people,
Right. He was actually trying to stop himself from being such a terrible person in season 2.
Yes.
But it's rooted. It's rooted in him, and the interesting part about it is when you see it. You'll understand. It's murder is rooted in him. He can't get rid of it.
It is. He's a psychopath. But the thing is, though, the terrible thing, and I'm like, what does this say about me? Some of the people that he got up out of there, I wasn't mad at all.
Wait. Are you trying to tell me that you are a psychopath or a murderer, Tiffany? Because if that's the case,
not a murderer, but I could for some reason I could rationalize some of the people he got up out of there. Now Beck, that was one thing. Oops, I didn't mean to get that away. But I mean, some of the other folks. They weren't really good people. So I was like, didn't really feel bad when certain things happened to them.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I did love you. Have you guys been watching 50 Cent's new show For Life on ABC?
Been watching that.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I've been enjoying it so far. It's a loosely, I don't know how strongly based it is, but it's based on the true life story of Isaac Wright Jr., who was an inmate, and he started to advocate for a lot of prisoners, and he even started to defend them in their cases. And so it's been really interesting to see that, first of all, it was a true story, and then you see a lot of the stuff that goes on in the system, pretty much.
I read further that it's not as truthful as we initially thought it might.
Oh, they made it loose, but some of it is it's true because
right.
I saw the guy Isaac Wright.
Right.
He did an interview with 50 Cent and Michael Strahan a couple weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
and he talked about his case. It was really interesting. Like he even talked about when going into the courtroom. Because he's, of course, he's out now and he's actually a practicing lawyer. Mm-hmm. And he said that he had times where folks were even questioning, like, what is he doing here in the courtroom? And things like that. Yeah, so his line of work was different, too. So there were certain things that they changed up for the story. But he clarified in the interview what that was. And very intelligent guy and everything and stuff. And I'm just happy to see him winning.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see a show like that because it does kind of speak for the opportunities that you still might have. Not to say that everyone would have that opportunity because it took a special agreement with, I think, the governor or something of the state. Somebody had to approve it, and it was high up on the approval list, and so he got approved to do what he's doing. But nonetheless, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to go to jail and just sit and rot. There are things you can do. And I wouldn't be surprised that that if that is your, you know, your area that you want to take hold on to, I'm thinking that almost anybody could at least come as close to he had, you know, in terms of studying law. So,
Yeah.
but it's a good movie. It's kind of, I was thinking that it would be a little more, you know, 50 Cent. I was thinking it'd be a little more blood.
It's
Well,
ABC.
he actually makes an appearance on the episode coming up this week.
Yeah, this
so
week.
he'll be
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
It's on ABC, so I don't expect it to be like Power. Like
No.
they had Stars as cable, and this is still regular TV, and the timing. That's one thing that 50 discussed. He discussed next season. He was proposing for it to come on earlier and everything, because one of the things is that I guess since it comes on like 10 o'clock.
But that's good though, because theoretically, when you're looking at prime time can start as early as 7 o'clock, I think. But I think late prime
With
is
the kids.
Right, kids are generally in bed, so you know you got adults that are generally up at around that time, which is why I thought there'd be a little more drama in terms of that.
Well, he said he was getting feedback from other folks saying, I gotta work in the morning, I can't stay up that late to watch it. So that's why he was proposing, because he's getting
it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
That they can't stay up late to 10 o'clock to wait for his show. You know, the people
Right.
are tired. So
No, it's a struggle, because you know I get up at 5 a.m. and but that's just one night I know that I'm gonna have to be up, you know, a little late. So it's over at 11. I know I'm not getting in bed till 11:15.
Right. And if you have on demand, you can always just watch it on demand the next day or whatever when they put it up online.
Yeah, true.
So moving right along, jumping back into the Netflix content, the next show, Love is Blind. Okay. So this was a hot topic, you know, over the past, last month, it was all over the place. Everybody was talking about Love is Blind. The dating show that Netflix has put out where people pretty much get engaged sight unseen, and then they have like 2 weeks to decide if they're actually going to follow through with the wedding. So that show was
so you know I'm gonna be the devil's
drama.
advocate. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate, even though I saw the whole thing and I did enjoy it. But you know, the question is love blind? Well, certainly that show didn't prove that, because everybody were either model type figures or
that was the critique.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that about the show. Because
I mean, but if they was putting up some less than, you know, attractive people, then people would say, oh, y'all set them up.
No, I'm saying you could have had a mixture of you know, average looking people and, you know, the beauty models and things like that. I mean, because you're asking the question, is love blind? So
right.
Well, I mean, if everybody's going to look nice, well, that's kind of easy, you know, because most times we fall in love with what we see anyways. So I don't think the premise was really dealt with by having a bunch of models. And the only
that's a fair critique. I mean, they weren't models, but
no, I don't model, not models.
They were model looking.
Yeah.
They were good looking cast of people.
Yeah.
For the most part. I would say that so person who I got to put on the get the hands list is Jessica. Jessica got to get these hands, okay?
She deserved hands and feet. I was so mad at Jessica, and even Gigi got on my nerves.
Yeah, Gigi definitely.
Gigi got herself together at the reunion.
Yeah.
You know, she kind of you know, did an about face and kind of humbled herself. But she and Jessica both worked my nerves.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I could not believe that Mark, he was such a good guy, and he was really trying to appease Jessica, and nothing he was doing was working. And here she go running back to Barnett, being a little backstabber to Amber.
She wasn't into him. She was never into him. She was not. I felt like, you know, first of all, I'm not sure if she ever had like dated interracially too. You know, Mark was Mexican. I'm just gonna say it. Also, he was in a different class, you know, socially, economically, because she, you know, she was being condescending to him about college.
Well, she had 10 years experience over Mark.
Yeah, she did, and she had money. She had money, and she was drawing to Barnett.
Well, yeah, she was drawing 6 figures. I mean, because she's worked a minute or two, so she was drawing 6 figures. But you know, her thing was, and I don't want to give up the show because maybe there's a lot of you who haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it,
but she's a real You know what? I
Yeah.
don't want to call a woman that word,
Right.
but that's what she is.
She's a piece of work for
She's a
sure.
real, yeah,
Trip.
she's a
Let's
she's
say
a lot
that.
of
She's
work.
a trip.
Big trip.
The other person on that show who a lot of people were pissed off with was Carlton.
Well, Carlton. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
let me hit that for a minute. Okay. And here's the other part about the show that I didn't like. Of all the brothers that they could have on the show, even if they had one more brother other than Carlton, this is all we got. And Carlton, if I got a problem, I got a bigger problem with Carlton than I had with Jessica, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were upset. Like you said, that he was the only black man on the show and he acted the way he did. And I think that he's apologetic now, looking back in hindsight, because that show happened 2 years ago now. And so now that it has aired and they have had a chance to see it themselves, a lot of them are very, cringing at what they see. And he was one of the people that had to go on an apology tour because the way he did Diamond, to me, it seemed kind of uncalled for because she responded to that situation the best I think she could have in the moment.
Definitely.
Well, Twitter lit both of them on fire, and both of them were getting death threats.
Yeah.
I don't know why Diamond was getting it. I mean, Diamond.
Well, they thought that when she was talking to him, they were accusing her of being homophobic, which I don't think that
we can
was. I think she was pissed off.
She was blindsided. She was blindsided.
Right.
I mean,
right.
And we gotta, look. I understand this whole thing about whether you're homophobic or not, and not everything is, not everything that a person does that may look that way is that way. I mean, she was blindsided. She wasn't told who her lover actually is.
Right.
And when she found out, it was too late in the game, and he just acted as if it's just so natural that she should have taken it. It shouldn't have mattered to her.
He misrepresented himself. And first off, she didn't go off into the way he really was like, yeah, only when I'm messing with bees like you. Like he had the nerve to disparage her. He was really disrespectful. And I think that's what made her flip, because I would have gone off on him if he had come at me that way.
He was even disrespectful in how he put it out there. It was so casual. So,
yeah, he was. And
for her, and just to think that because he's that way, that this is something that she's supposed to accept. I mean, after all, you're looking to get married. Shouldn't you know who you're marrying?
Exactly.
You should know who you're marrying, and you should get some. It's interesting seeing different perspectives, because Lauren and Cameron, who are everybody.
I love Lauren and Cameron
too. I love them. I'm following Lauren. I'm following you on IG. But they've been doing their whole media tour, and they were on Sway in the Morning, and Sway was giving his feedback about the Carlton situation, and he was like, "Well, technically, they're only dating like 7 weeks, so he felt like it wasn't enough time for Carlton to have disclosed that information to her." But I disagree, because the thing is, because first off, you don't meet each other until someone proposes. So he's proposed to this woman, and then they fly off to Mexico. She's supposed to know before she walks down that aisle.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And just because you might feel a certain way about it, like regardless of the time frame, you just put your truth out there and let the person decide. But by misleading somebody, you take away their choice to love you for who you are or who you are. So she doesn't have a choice there. If you guys have not seen Love is Blind yet, that's a good show if you want a little bit of drama.
A lot of drama.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the fellas out there, I don't know if you'll hang with it, but go ahead and hang with it and see what you see. Let's have a communication about Brother Carlton and Jessica, because I'd like to hear your comments about Carlton.
Okay.
I really would like to see that.
Well, another show that has come out recently on OWN is called Cherish the Day. And I know you two have really gotten into that.
Yes, Lord. Okay. Go ahead, Tiff. You got the floor. You know how you are. Go ahead.
So give us a rundown. What is the show about?
I actually wanted you to lead, but it's about a young Black couple, and it seems like they're coming from two different backgrounds because the gentleman, what's the brother's name? Evan has a Stanford college education. Mm-hmm. He drives a Tesla. He looks like he's doing well for himself. He's in the Silicon Valley tech industry, and Gently James, young sister, well traveled, not college educated, sassy from
and LA. That's another thing. I love all. I was loving
her hair.
I love all my sisters, but I'm glad to see that more and more you're seeing the darker sisters getting these.
I like seeing that too. Mm-hmm. I like seeing that too.
And she represents. I mean, she represents all day. So that was the one good thing I got to say about it. But you go ahead.
But yeah, well, Ron had problems with Miss Gently. He thought she had issues because Gently is kind of tough. But like I as I was telling Tiara, Gently reminds me of Queen from Queen and Slim because she has a tough exterior at first, but as you get to know her and you start peeling back those layers, you see there's more to her. I mean, Gently is a trip. I'll give you that, Ron. She's a trip. There was a couple of things I was like, okay. But I like the show because it's showing the different, like, love is complicated. It's not cookie cutter, and people you think like on paper, like this person should be for you. People are drawn to people for different reasons. And as I was saying to Ron before we went on camera, it shows how sometimes when you're dating and you have friends and family in your background and how they can be in your ear with the chitter chatter about what they think about whatever and stuff. And that can complicate relationships too.
Yeah, I guess without giving away the show, mm-hmm. She really had nothing to be sorry for or feel as if inferior. She was a well-educated woman in sense of travel, and it seems like whatever Evan was trying to do, she had something against it because she was giving him all this hate about what he was doing, but in theory, she was doing exactly what she accused him of doing. And I it was like I kept scratching my head thinking
she had some trust and commitment issues and stuff. She had some, I think both of them starting out were both kind of commitment folks.
Yeah, but you got to empty your trash can before you get involved with another relationship. Because if you're going to bring that garbage from your last relationship or whatever into another relationship, you can't help but fail. Empty that trash can.
It takes time. Us, first of all, us in the Black community, like it's like a lot of us do come with baggage. And that's why I thought the show was realistic because
come with a bag, but don't bring all your luggage.
Because we come from different, different backgrounds. We come with different scenarios, different,
But sisters, look, leave the luggage at home. If you got a bag, bring the bag.
Brothers, y'all got baggage too.
Everybody got baggage.
Like a lot of times, sisters got to put up with a lot of baggage.
I don't date brothers. I'm just saying for the sisters, leave your baggage, leave the luggage at home. Everybody got a bag. You're right. Nobody comes so perfect, but don't come with everything in the kitchen sink. Okay, leave all that at home.
I guess you gotta figure out how much baggage you can handle.
That's what it is.
Or do you need a checked bag?
That's what it is. That's perfect, Tiara. Because
check the bag at the door.
Nobody is perfect. So
I agree to that.
You got to find out like what you can live with and what you can live without. Like,
that's called neuroses. We all got it, but some heavier than others.
Okay, well, we've talked about what we've been watching so far. Tiffany, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there you are.
My phone rang.
All right. I want to talk about what is on your radar. So what shows are you guys interested in watching in the next coming weeks? Because I know Insecure is coming back beginning of
April.
So that's on my radar.
That's on my radar.
It's our focus, definitely.
Yes. We'll probably be coming back to do weekly recaps of that once it comes out.
Yep.
Also, I've been watching obviously just a ton of Netflix stuff, so I can't wait to get back into season 2 of Narcos Mexico. I loved season 1, so I'm ready to pick back up on that. Also, I've been looking to watch Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker kind of biopic. That's
Excellent
also
movie,
on
by the
Netflix.
way.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I got to get on that. And then I've just been watching a ton of just Netflix content. I've been watching a lot of documentaries like The Pharmacist. I've been watching Tiger King. A lot of people have been talking about that. All American season 2 just came back on
That's back on.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been. What about you guys?
Well, I've seen Cherish. Well, not we talked about Cherish today, but
The Madam C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker, saw that. That's an excellent one to see.
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, the sooner you get that one, the better.
Yeah.
It really depicts. I mean, there's some things about that woman that, you know, I'm like, God. I mean, she must have been like kissing cousins with Harriet Tubman or something, because this woman, she had to go through a lot, and for her to amass the kind of wealth that she was able to do in a time when white women weren't even considered 100% human, and let alone what they thought of black women. For this woman to amass the kind of wealth she was able to do is just amazing to me.
And speaking of the black kind of empowerment films, you also seen The Banker.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of those movies that recently came out, but it's available on Apple Plus.
Yeah, Apple Plus, and also I believe Xfinity. You'll have to pay for it, but if you have the Apple Plus or Xfinity, it's I believe it's on Xfinity too. But I saw it on Apple Plus. It sets you back about $20. Again, you know, if you're watching it with 2 or 3 people, it's no different than going to the movies. But definitely, it's one to see. I think The Banker and Madam C.J. Walker are the 2 on my list that are must-sees.
Right. And The Banker is actually about having equality in the housing market when black folks back in that day were trying to stop the redlining and all of that stuff. And Nia Long and Sam Jackson are in that movie.
Well, not just the equality in the housing market, although it is the thing that instituted the federal law for equal share housing. But one of the things it was mostly trying to drive home was the need for entrepreneurship with minorities and things like that. And that's one of the things it brought out even more so, is having the ability to make your own money. Doesn't matter whether you're black, you know, that you should have that opportunity. And that was driven home very well in the movie. So it's definitely one to see. If I had to give top honors to a particular movie, I think The Banker would be it.
Yeah, so please make sure you guys check that one out for sure. I know that there were a lot of powers that be, you know, trying to stop that movie from getting out, and it had some delays in the release, but it did actually make it on screen. So make sure you support that movie and show it the love
Apple
it
Plus
deserves.
for doing what they did too, because if it hadn't been for them, I don't know if we would have seen that. So check your cable companies, you know, your on-demand for movies, and see if it's there. But it is definitely with Apple Plus.
Okay. Tiffany, you got some shows that are on your radar that you're
Just
thinking about watching?
That's the shows that you mentioned. I want to see The Banker. I don't have Apple TV, so I got to figure out a way to check that out. I might have to do the download. I'm going to watch the Self-Made, the Madam C.J. Walker. I'm going to finish this Cherish the Day season because I see 7 episodes. I just finished episode 2. What other things that I am I interested in seeing, trying to catch up on? I think you guys named it. You have me intrigued about Narcos because you're the second person who mentioned Narcos to me.
Yeah, well, they have several seasons in different places. I know they were in Colombia one season, focusing on Pablo Escobar. And now they've made it over to Mexico for another season. So this is the second season that's actually in Mexico. And season 1 was, whoo, man, I was on the edge of my seat watching that. It's so salacious. It's a lot of love, lust, murder, and money, and drugs, of course.
Up my alley. I gotta check it out too. I haven't seen it.
And obviously, it's based on a lot of true events that have happened. So yeah, I got to get going on that one. But I think that this has been a good little recap of what we've been doing in the little bit of time since we finished off with Power. Obviously, we've all been kind of stopped in our tracks forcibly. Yeah. So we got time on our hands.
A lot of time. A lot of time.
And we miss you guys.
Yeah, we really did. I mean, we've been thinking, how are we going to do this and get back to you guys, because your comments, all of them are excellent. You really fill us up, and I really appreciate that from you guys, really.
So yeah, this little method here of social distancing, I definitely enjoyed this.
Me too.
Yeah. And so you guys in the comments, let us know what you are doing during this whole coronavirus situation. Let us know how you're coping. Let us know what you've been watching. Let us know what's on your radar. And if you would like for us to recap any of the shows that you're interested in, shows or movies. Also be able to follow us online at The Spot Real Talk. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Also, if you'd like to join us in this little block, we can do that too. So
that would be cool.
Yeah, we can take up to 50, but I doubt if all 50 are it'll be 47, I guess, at this point. But if you want to join us, just let us know in the comment section, and I will send you a link, and you can join us the next time. So, hey.
That would be real cool.
Just make sure you got a strong internet connection.
Yeah, have a decent internet connection because you're going to need it. Doesn't have to be 100%, but I mean, a strong internet connection will help. So we'll figure all that out when we get there.
Yes, indeed. So we'll be coming back to you with more content. We'll definitely try to do more of our little spot happy hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I've been sipping. It's getting a little hot in here now.
Yeah, look, these lights getting me too.
You already seen me sipping.
All right. Well, it has been a lot of fun. I missed you guys. I'm glad we got to get back together to discuss what we've been doing in our downtime. Please make sure you stick with us. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Click the notification bell so you can get alerted every single time we post some content. And just hang with us. We social distancing, but we still gonna give you some good entertainment.
All about the spot. All about the spot. Real talk.
All right. Any closing remarks, guys?
I'm good.
All right.
Miss you guys. See you soon.
Definitely.
Stay safe.
See you soon. Well, this has been the Spot Real Talk Happy Hour. This is the Quarantine Chronicles, and we'll see you next time.
Blame Tiffany for that.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Keep the change. They hate and say we went and changed. I say the same. You must be blinded by the lights. You must be blinded by the lights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.